Thank you. So, branding 3x3. Branding's a very popular word at the minute. What is it? What does it mean? It means a lot of different things to a lot of people. Some people think it's just your logo. It's not. Your logo is just a part of it. Think like a jigsaw. Your logo is probably the main part of it, the first thing you see, and the primary part of a brand that people identify. I think the M for McDonald's. You can see a sign from miles away and you know what it is. But what I'm talking to you about today is a framework that I've put together that will help you understand branding better and help you implement things easier in your business. If you get these things in place, you don't have to worry so much about everything else. If you concentrate on these things, everything else sort of comes along with it. So the three main areas are your strategy. So strategy, who you are, what do you do, who do you do it for, why do you do it, what gets you out of bed in the morning beyond making money. Your audience, who's your customers? Because if you haven't got any customers, you haven't got a business, so you haven't got a brand or you don't have a course. And then the identity, so the logo and all the visual things, maybe the audio things, video, sound, podcasting, all those sorts of things are part of the identity, the way that you can communicate your brand and communicate with your customers through your brand. So the three main parts of the strategy, like I said, there's your why and your purpose. Why do you do what you do? For me, I absolutely love branding. I love everything about the visual element. I love everything about how it can help a business. One of my customers, we did a rebrand 2 years ago and they've just completed a sale of the business because their brand lifted their profile so much. One of their competitors made them a significant offer and they thought, great, we're done, we're out of the business. So a brand can have an actual positive effect on the financial side of a business or the value of the business to other people in the marketplace, or even if they didn't want to sell, the value of their own business would have gone up because of the perception in the marketplace. So the how is your values, the way that you do something, the way that you make cakes, who you make them for. Are they vegan? Are they gluten-free? Are they a certain style? Do you like to make them for certain people? Your crafts. Are they using certain materials? Do they have a message beyond something that's ornamental, or how would you use it? With you guys at True Flame, what's different about your business? The way that you do something, the way that you communicate with your customers when an order comes in, how's things packaged when it goes out? What's that whole process, and how is that aligned with what your customers' values are? Do they want to be spoken to in a certain way by a certain method, for example, phone or email? Do they like to speak to you in a certain way, such as, I use the analogy of builders, it's usually rough and ready and they say it like it is, or is it something that's warm and friendly? And that is all the things that you can align with to find your ideal customer. If you set your business up so that you are speaking to your perfect customer, it's a very scary thing to do, but you will attract people from a wider audience as well. And then the what. It's what it is you do. What products or services do you offer? How do you solve problems? What benefits do you provide somebody? How do you get somebody from where they are now to where they want to be by providing a product or a service? So you've got your ideal customer. I touched on that. So the profile. So what is it about that customer? How old are they? Are they male? Are they female? Does that matter? What's their background? What's important to them? The more you can know about the profile of your perfect customer, the more you can gear your marketing and your messaging towards speaking to that perfect customer. So you would probably have an avatar of them, and I don't mean the blue people from the film, but you could identify, let's say your perfect customer's normally male and then normally middle-aged. So create that as a person. Give him a name, Bob. So when you talk about what you do and how you help people, imagine you're talking to Bob, because then you're talking to a real person. You're not just talking to the ether, because the internet's a huge place and it's really difficult sometimes to know what to say. But if you imagine you're speaking to one particular person who's got one particular set of problems or wants a certain thing, like a new piece of artwork or a new cake for a birthday or an event or something, then it's easier for you to communicate what it is you do. So knowing your audience is really, really important. So think about the customer journey as well. So when we are all customers, we've all bought things from somewhere or someone. We've taken a flight, we've been to a hotel, we've been in a shop and bought a sandwich. We want certain things and we might not be aware of that until it's done wrong, and then it makes you stop and question it. For example, if you don't get acknowledged by the staff when you go in, you might think it's rude, or if you walk in a shop and you get pounced on by 3 or 4 different people and you've just gone to browse. We've all got different things that we expect and we want. So think about what your customers want from you. How do they want to feel? How do they want you to respond? And what do you want them to feel like? Do you want to wow them with your creativity or the speed of turnaround, or the fact that everything's perfect first time, or they just ring up and ask for a job and you give them a list of questions so that you can make sure that that job is delivered perfectly and you get the information you need, but you've made it easier for the customers to do it. So if you work out from the first point of contact to leaving you a testimonial because you've done a fantastic job or you've delivered a fantastic result, what is that journey and what does it look like, and how can you improve it at every little point along the way? So your brand is your promise to the customer that you're going to deliver a fantastic cake, or you're going to help them get to their career objective. They're going to understand the world of cybersecurity. They're going to be able to communicate to people that need to know how cybersecurity can affect them. You're going to need to communicate that in a certain way. So you making that promise of what you're going to deliver, that is what your brand is all about. So I've mentioned identity before. It's the most obvious part of branding. It's the visual, it's the uniform, it's the logo that you've got on your clothing. It might be the colours that you wear. I tend to wear navy blues because it's part of my logo. The shirts don't always go as tame as this, and the socks certainly don't, but that's part of my personal brand. And you saw the little Lego character at the beginning. That's a little Lego me, because I build brands, so I use Lego as part of the way that I tell my story. It's creative and it's fun. And if you have a box of bricks, if we had the same box of bricks in this room, we would all create something different out of the same materials. So that's how you can use different marketing channels like social media or email marketing or videos, or the way that you speak about your brand. We've all got the same tools. It's how we communicate, what we communicate, and how we put something together. But the one thing I always tell everybody, consistency is key. So if you've got a logo or an identity and you're doing social media posts, make sure that logo is always in the same place. It might be top left corner, it might be bottom middle. You might have a version of it that's in the colour. So my logo is navy blue with the teal, the yellow and the pink. But if I was using a multicoloured background, that wouldn't work, so I'd have an all white version. So it's always going to stand out on the background, but it's always in the same place. It's always in the same font. They're always in those colours when I use the colours. So logos are an ingredient in your identity system. Uniform is also one. You might have signage, you might have an information leaflet, you might have an email signature, you might have your social media content, so it might be images of what you've created or images of production. I know, for example, in engineering type environments, people are fascinated by how things are done. Like they might have seen some flares coming off a laser if something's been cut or something's been welded or something like that, or even cakes being mixed, or whatever you create, it's being put together. People like to know how it's done because we're nosy. We all like to know how things are done and what's inside the box and what does it look like. So that can be sort of content for you. Your logo, ideally, if it's got a meaning, it's easier. I told you the story about my logo on the cups at the beginning, but the simple way to do that is if I say to you now Aladdin's lamp, you all know the story that I'm talking about. So that symbol, that object, can have a story to it. So if you can have an object or something that your audience can identify that helps you tell the story of your business and what you can do to help them, again, it's another thing you can talk about. If it's something a little bit obscure like make a brew, that most people think I'm a cafe. Well, no, I'm not, but it's a point of conversation starting. So your logo and symbol, if you think of it like an onion, you've got lots of different layers to it and you can tell stories about it. Again, with yourselves and marketing the DFIG programme, you mentioned lots of things there and lots of aspects that the programme offers, but that doesn't mean anything to anybody. So tell the story of people that have already done it and gone through each of those aspects of it. This company had this problem, we helped them get this, this is the result. Simple 3 steps. But if you can tell stories about what the programme's delivered, other people will go, I need that help. Just from seeing the course and what the different options are in it, sometimes people don't know they've got a problem until you poke it and show them that they've got a problem. So that might be how you can communicate what your programme can do in a different way. Said before, consistency is key. If you think about it as content is king, so content, try and make it original. It's yours, it's you. There is only one you in the world. There's only you that does what you do the way that you do it. So that's how, if you can communicate that, don't worry about everybody else is doing, just tell your story about your products and how you help people and what you do in your own way or your company's way, and do it consistently. Any questions? Go.
Thank you. So, as a course leader, most of our students are coming from local region, so within this region.
Okay.
So we want to go, nationally. We want more students coming from across the UK. So as a course leader, I've been, supporting SMEs, and we've been doing things, but I've been using social media to advertise who we are and what we do. How could I go about it? How could I attract students from other different parts of the UK?
You need to make your course a destination. Why would somebody want to come to you? So it's important to you who you are and what you do, but all I'm interested in is me. What am I going to get out of it? Why should I go there? So I believe Sheffield is still one of the most popular student destinations in the country, and it has the highest retention rate of students that live in the city after they've finished studying. It's the outdoor city, so that you've got the benefits that the location offers, including what you do. So if I'm looking for a career, like Ben is studying for cybersecurity, but he's not really sure what he wants to do yet. So again, the case study story. Students who've gone through your course or come to your course are interested in becoming the next code breaker or password defender. You might create characters of those people that are they demonstrate all the skills that people would come out with after they've gone through that thing. What would they come out with? Where would they be? Imagine themselves where they are now and where they're going to be after they've gone through your course and your programme.
I mean, so our mission basically, or our strength, is having applied courses. So if, for example, a student goes to another university, they might not be that applied. So we would love, we are pushing for hands-on experience. So this is what we do. But I don't know how to, advertise that, how to promote that.
If your course is compared to other courses out there and they're more academic and more studying books and research, and you're do a simple versus. Because you're going to get different people. Do you want to have your head in a book to learn how to do something? Some people will. Do you want to actually do it?
Okay, all right, okay. I understand.
So you're going to get people who are then interested and they want to do it. They're not so bothered about reading the books on it and everything to learn something. But if you can just put in the background who you are and all the accolades and accreditations you've got, because that's there. It's more about, if you think about the people you want on the course, what's in it for them? Why would they come? What are they going to get out of it? Turn it round. Because we're all very guilty of talking about ourselves. I can do this and I can do that, and just put yourself in your customer's shoes and go, so what?
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
If I had to do lots of reading, it would put me off. I wouldn't even think about joining it. But if you said, well, actually, you don't need to do that, you can come along and have a go, that would be the brainer for me. I would go because I'd be interested in that and I would go for it.
Okay.
So, well, that would
Thank you.
Yeah, just one of the things I picked up on your little presentation was the fact that your brand is the promise to the customer.
Yes.
I'd never thought about it that way before. Just the fact that it's like when you see the McDonald's sign, you go to McDonald's because of consistency. You go to Costa because of the consistency. You're going for that experience, which is their promise is, if you come here, you'll get this.
Yes.
And that was just a light bulb moment. So, yeah.